Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, I was probably going to be just, starting up the computer, waiting for it to, I guess you could say, rebuild itself after an update. But apparently, the update, even though I was letting it happen, did not want to go. Well, most of what was needing to be updated, like the security and all that, was okay, but the cumulative one didn't. And it had two cumulative updates for this month when it's supposed to have one for last month and this month. So I don't know if that was a glitch on their part or something, but I did pause it and I will resume down the line when the opportunity presents it, so that way I could probably get it all corrected and going forward. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is some interesting news that came out this weekend concerning the creator of Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. So VivziePop, Vivienne or Vivia, the person behind Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, also the one that did basically the Kesha video, basically the Die Young Kesha video. She did the animated one years ago, which got her on the map, got her noticed even by Kesha. Well, VivziePop, Vivienne, if you will, or Vivienne, had a meeting, believe it or not, this past weekend or this past week with Warner Brothers. Yes, she had a meeting, and you see it up here on the screen. She had a meeting with Warner Brothers this week or this past weekend, and she seemed, the image, you have the image of her standing in front of the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes logo, if you will, and you have another image of her characters, because somebody put this together when the news got out, of characters from her two notable shows kind of having looks of surprise and shock, like, what is this? And first of all, I want to say that this is to me, this is like a good sign for someone like VivziePop to, be able to get a meeting in with the likes of Warner Brothers, because, Warner Brothers and Disney and Universal, they're not easy to get the attention of. They're not easy to get the attention of or anything when it comes to talking to them about any kind of idea, any kind of project, distribution, stuff like that. But here she got it, and apparently it went over very well. But the question is, what is the meeting, or what was, I should say, the meeting about? And a lot of folks are thinking it's got to do either with Has Been Hotel, which is on Amazon Prime right now, or Hell of a Boss. Since Has Been Hotel is on Amazon Prime, I'm assuming it has to do with Hell of a Boss, maybe, and it probably being distributed over to Max. Now, hear me out. What I mean by that is, obviously, VivziePop is hearing all this news about Max, WBD, removing a lot of animation, Cartoon Network's animation that is, from their lineup. Even some classic Looney Tunes and so on. So, obviously, she sees an opportunity of this, hey, there's got to be a reason as to why they're doing this. So obviously she made some contacts, got the meeting set up, and I'm assuming she probably found out that maybe they're removing some of the established content from Cartoon Network, Looney Tunes, and all that to make room for original content that they can call Max Originals. And to me, I think that's what Hell of a Boss could fit in. I think that's what Hell of a Boss could fit in the near future. Has Been Hotel could fit in there as well, but right now they have an exclusive contract with Amazon Prime. And let me get some coffee here for a second. Good. Well, like I said, they have an existing contract for who knows how long with Amazon Prime. So my assumption is it's got to do with Hell of a Boss. It might have to do maybe even with some kind of new project she wants to work on. Because she has had other ideas that she wants to bring to the table. Remember, there was this other idea for characters, if you will, this other idea for characters that she wanted to make into a series. It's kind of like it's kind of like an adult version of Zootopia before Zootopia, or something like that. And the characters were very like, you could tell what animals they represented, but they were also very like, how do I put this? Elastic, mandible, characters, and with those kind of designs. And one can assume it might have to do with those characters and that concept, but we don't know. But if I was to lean towards anything possibly that could, enter as part of Max, enter Max as part of its lineups, I would have to say it's got to be Hell of a Boss. Again, like I said, the other concept that I mentioned that had these characters that were like a band and all that. Two of them were a couple and everything, but had very elastic mandible designs and fluidity to their character. That could have been something she was talking to them about as well. But again, we'll find out in due time. I mean, obviously she is sworn to secrecy. She can't let anything out until the right time. I would assume the right time could be this summer at San Diego Comic-Con if that goes on, which I think it will. But yeah, I think she will probably by that time frame, San Diego Comic-Con. I think she will let us in on what the meeting was about. Now, she could let us in sooner, but right now I think she's sworn to secrecy. So we'll see. We'll find out in the near future. But my guess is either it's got to do with developing finally developing a series. Excuse me there. I just woke up a little while ago. But it could be about, developing a series for those initial characters she created in the first place, which two of them do appear in the Die Young animated video she did. It could be about developing a series for them, or it could be about distributing Hell of a Boss onto Max. So that way, not only do you have a home on YouTube, but that, those two seasons along with, the newer season will be on Max as well. And the newest season could be exclusive to Max. But again, we're not really sure. Now, the other question some fans would have is why would she even want to work with Warner Brothers with, that possibility of, hey, it could be the new home for Hell of a Boss and maybe even Has Been Hotel in the future after the contract with Amazon Prime is up. Well, I look at it this way. Hell of a Boss's animation style is getting better and better and better, right? So obviously, she wants to make the third season, from an animation standpoint, stand out. And what better way than to work with people that will financially help you out? Now, I know people are afraid, like, well, if she goes through with this, that means she's handing over the characters to them, and they're going to have the final say. Not so fast. Because you see, nowadays, when content creators or creators like her go out and make these deals, they make sure that essentially they have the final say among anybody else, above all else, I should say. Among all the people involved, they make sure they have the final say. So I'm assuming that if this is what's going on, that she's trying to work out maybe the details that will, allow Hell of a Boss, and in the future Has Been Hotel, and maybe any other future projects I should say, that, like I mentioned earlier, that she could bring to the table for Max to be on Max. I'm assuming, the speculation here, that she is trying to work out a deal to where she'll have final say. Like, financially, they'll supply her with the money and everything, and they will hire the animators, maybe, the animators and all that, to come in and do the animation, maybe even write some scripts, but she will have the final say. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she might try to be working out. And if that is the case, then her having that smile on her face and word getting around that, hey, the meeting went off well, to me, that sounds like she's going to get what she's asking for. Like, she's going to get the financial backing of Max and Warner Brothers, if you will. She's going to get that financial backing. She's going to allow them to hire the, animators. She's going to allow them to probably write some scripts. but she's also going to want to have, members of her team that have been with her since the beginning. She's going to want members of her team since the beginning, her voice actors and everything, as well as she's going to want to have that final say. So I'm thinking that's probably, what she's trying to work out, that, she'll have that final say, along with bringing in some of her, team to help work and collab on, on the future seasons of Hell of a Boss, maybe some new new concepts for new shows and all that in the future. But again, that's just me assuming and speculating. Now, like I said, a lot of folks are not too sure about this. A lot of folks are like, no, Vizzy, don't do this. Stay indie, stay independent. Don't go down this path, because you go down this path, you're going to lose everything you've worked for. And again, I understand that, but like I said, I think she's going to try her best to work out some kind of deal like she did with Amazon, to where she has final say. She can bring in members of her team to collab with, the team that Warner Brothers brings in to make this all work out. So I think, honestly, anybody that's worried, that Vizzy might be making a mistake here, remember, she's already worked out a deal with Amazon Prime. She's made sure that the Has-Been Hotel is done the way she sees fit and the way she knows the fans want it to be seen done. So to me, she's going to work out, or try to work out, that same kind of deal, to where she has, a final say. She brings in members of her team that's been with her since the beginning, and she gets, Warner Brothers to financially back her, allowing them to bring in the animators that are needed to help, bring the show to life and give it more of a budget, if you will, than ever before, in my opinion. But that's just my take. That's just my take. Now, there could be the possibility that maybe she's going to Warner Brothers to work out a distribution deal for maybe a movie. Remember, I've gone on record and said that I believe she has planned, that if she wants to, and she probably does have these plans lined up and ready to go, to make a theatrical big screen movie for either Has-Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss. Maybe even both. And she needs a studio to distribute a studio, to do the distribution for the film. Okay. So what better studio outside of Disney and Universal, could she, or even, Universal, Illumination, DreamWorks, you get the idea, right? Skydance, Paramount. What better studio that is basically, a studio that will distribute just about anything if it, meets the criteria. What better studio to go with outside of, like I said, Disney, Universal, Paramount, Skydance, Lionsgate, you name it. What better studio to go with than Warner Brothers Discovery? What better studio to go with than Warner Brothers Discovery, especially if Warner Brothers is going to separate, to where one portion of it is run by somebody else, like the television portion and all that, and the movie portion is run by somebody else, and there you go. I think honestly, if that's the case as well, that as to why VivziePop is doing this, then more power to her. Heck, she might even be planning to do a crossover between the two shows that she has as a movie, and she needs a distributor like Warner Brothers to make it a reality on the big screen, or even streaming-wise on the small screen. But we'll see. We shall see. But that could be another reason. That could be another reason why VivziePop is doing this. She's doing it to find a distributor for a potential future movie she wants to work on, either based on Has-Been Hotel or based on Hell of a Boss. So Well, so hopefully we'll find out in the near future. But like I said, right now the reason she's not saying anything is she's been sworn to secrecy until the time is right, and hopefully she can work out all the details that she needs to work out when it comes to whatever deal she's got going with them. To where maybe if it's about putting Hell of a Boss and in the future Has Been Hotel on Max, she retains final say and all that, and what and how the show is presented, how the episodes will go, character-wise, and all that, as well as bringing parts of her team to collaborate with the team that Warner Brothers brings in to make this a reality, or to also create something for those characters she created initially in the beginning that we saw a cameo in the Die Young video, or it could be to have them be the distributor, I should say, for an animated film based on Hell of a Boss or Has Been Hotel, maybe even a crossover movie. But we'll see. We'll have to see, and obviously we'll find out, I should say, when VivziePop gives us the information when the time is right, when she's got, like I said, all the kinks and everything worked out. Now, if nothing comes of this, then hey, at least it's showing that she's willing to, go out and shop around her projects, if you will, with the end goal, I should say, of her, like I say, mainly maintaining that final say and enabling her to also bring her team, voice actors and animators, maybe even script writers, story writers, along for the ride. To collab with the people that with the studio and the people they bring in, to make this a reality. But again, we'll see. If nothing works out here, she's probably going to go to Universal. Nothing works out with Universal, go to Paramount, and so on and so forth. But we'll see. And again, like I said, I understand people are worried. But hey, if she can work out a deal with Amazon to where she can get that final say, hopefully with like she did, hopefully I should say, like she did with Has Been Hotel, then I think if this is something to do with Hell of a Boss, hey, maybe she'll get the same kind of deal, maybe better. We'll see. But again, you cannot argue, with her trying to at least get some financial backing to make the animation better, to get better, equipment, animation-wise, video, production-wise, and all that, voice recording-wise, and all that. You can't blame her for doing what she has to make that all reality. But mostly, I think she also wants to make it a reality with her having that final say in what happens. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about one of the, I guess you can say, one of the most prolific faces in indie animation, VivziePop? How do you feel about her going and having meetings with Warner Brothers with the possibility that it's to either get them as a distributor for a potential movie based on one of the shows she currently has going, if not a crossover film between both of them, or potentially being the new streaming home for something like Hell of a Boss, and in the future Has Been Hotel, as well as maybe home to a new show based on some characters, like I said, we saw that she was working on originally in the past. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think maybe she's making a mistake? Or do you think maybe she's going to try to work out some kind of deal that's similar to what she had with not Warner Brothers, with Amazon Prime? What are your thoughts on that? Because again, I know people are worried, but how do you feel about it? How do you feel about that in your own personal view? And if you were in her shoes, would you go down that path? Would you shop around, some kind of deal with, the likes of Warner Brothers to try to maybe get some, I guess you could say, distributing for her shows, or maybe even some distributing for a potential movie that, in the long run, gets you that financial backing you need to upgrade your animation, productions, and all that. What are your thoughts? Let me know. And until next time, guys, click on the links in the description to find me at all your favorite audio podcast affiliates like Pandora, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, Audible. Also check me out at rumble.com at BWRoses, Odyssey.com at BWRoses, Vimeo at BWRoses, InkBunny.net at BWRoses, DeviantArt.com at BVW1979. Also check me out at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. And check me out at Twitter at BWRoses and Blue Sky. But guys, give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear how you feel about this. And until then, I am out.